Popsicle Monday. I'm not wearing any makeup because I've been working on some creative projects that I'm going to be sharing with you in a new video soon. But I found out yesterday this really cool video was started called the Cerebral Palsy Tag by another YouTuber, and I thought that was really cool because cerebral palsy is the disability that I have. So I have written out the questions here, and I will do the tag, so I hope you guys enjoy it. The first question is, what kind of cerebral palsy do you have? The type of cerebral palsy I have is called type 2. It's not the most severe and it's not the most mild. I'm kind of in the middle. I don't have great balance. My balance isn't good. So that's why the chair is easier, and I don't have great mobility on my right side. As you can see, it's hard for me to move this hand. It's more stiff. I don't have a lot of spasticity, which means that, my muscles are really tight, except on this right side. So this side is pretty normal. So the type of the type of cerebral palsy I have is called type 2, and it's in between the mild and most severe. And I'm in the wheelchair because of cerebral palsy. I also have cancer, but I'm not in the wheelchair because of cancer. I'm in the wheelchair because of cerebral palsy, but it's harder for me to get strong and get out of the wheelchair, of course, now that I have cancer. So the next question is, how did you get cerebral palsy? I was actually born very premature. I was supposed to be born August 29th, but I was actually born May 22nd. And as I was being born, I was, of course, really small. I was just about a pound or a little bit less than a pound. The doctor accidentally let go, and I went back into the birth canal, and it cut off my air supply. So it cut off my oxygen, which means that parts of my brain didn't get oxygen, and that's what affected the mobility and my balance. But I'm very lucky it didn't affect my intellect. So that's how I got cerebral palsy. But I also believe that before I was born, my spirit or my soul chose to be in a wheelchair or chose to have a disability. I'll get a little more into that later on in the tag. The next question is, how did you feel about cerebral palsy growing up? Growing up, I never really felt disabled. My family always taught me that I was just like everyone else. I was in some special classes because it took me longer to write, and it took me longer to do the work, mainly because of the mobility of writing and things. But I never felt different from anybody else. So I never really felt disabled until I got cancer, because I was super duper independent until getting cancer. Then I had to rely more on people for help with things that I didn't before. But growing up, I never really felt different. And of course, there were people that stared at me, but I didn't really care, because I thought if they stared, maybe I could teach them that having a difference wasn't a bad thing, it was a good thing. And that I enjoyed being different, and I was grateful to be different, because being like everyone else would be boring. So, next question, let's see. How did cerebral palsy impact your life, both the good and the bad? Well, the bad was early in my childhood, I had to have a surgery and several hospitalizations because of the disability. And also my immune system was weaker because of that as well. So, of course, having surgeries and being in the hospital for long periods of time is no fun, and you're separated from your friends and you fall behind in school. So that's difficult. So that would definitely be a negative part of it, as far as positive, so many awesome things have come from it. I got to be a Maryland Exceptional Leader, which is someone who got to do basically speaking engagements across schools in my school county in Maryland, to teach parents and kids that it was okay to be different. So I got that opportunity. And I also love to sing and I love theater. So I got very involved in music and theater, and it helped me gain acceptance from all the other kids. So I always had tons and tons of friends because of music and choir and theater and all of that. So I never really felt different, and I used to let other kids ride on my wheelchair or like put their weight on my walker because I used to walk part of the time with a walker. So they used to hang off my walker and we just have fun with my equipment. So I kind of enjoyed that. It just made things interesting. And even though people would stare, it didn't really bother me because I thought if people stared, it meant that they were paying attention and I could teach them something about that you can be different and still be really happy. Because I overcame a lot of difficulty as a child growing up, but I was always happy and always positive. And I think that it really impacted people to see a child, especially, with a disability, with so many things to overcome, and I was still really happy. So I was grateful to be able to impact and make a difference that way. The next question. Did you ever think about what your life would be like without cerebral palsy? Of course, I always would think about, what it'd be like to be able to get up and run across the playground, or, what it'd be like to have a child. I can't actually have a child because of it would be really difficult to basically risk standing and falling or something and being pregnant, and pregnancy would also be really hard on my body, so it would have been difficult for me to do. It's definitely possible, but it would have been difficult. So I was always sad that I couldn't have children, but I made the decision early on also that that having children would be extremely difficult. And I'm really grateful now that I don't have children because I wouldn't want them to basically see me sick or worry about me being sick. So if there is one thing that I think about is how things would be different if I had children. I have had plenty of opportunity to date, and I've been asked to be married 4 times and decided myself not to get married for different reasons. But I've been in love multiple times, and so I never missed out on that. I went to all the dances in school. I went to prom. I never really missed out on the social stuff. So that was never really an issue. So. How was going to school with cerebral palsy? Well, basically, as I mentioned, I had some classes with children that were like myself with disabilities and some classes with kids that were able-bodied. It was good because it allowed me to understand that there were other kids like me, but there were also kids that weren't disabled, and it allowed me to learn to be friends with everyone. So in a way, it was a blessing because it taught me to be accepting and loving of everyone. And as I said, I never really minded when kids stared because I knew it was because they were curious, and I saw it as an opportunity to make a difference and to impact people in a positive way from a very, very young age. It was actually harder on my sister. When people stared at me, she would get upset and I would just laugh. So. How has your disability changed throughout your life? I used to be able to walk. My balance was better. now my balance has gotten a little bit worse. So I can't walk with a walker, but also I'm not as strong because of being sick, on top of the cerebral palsy. So that's been a little bit difficult. But I don't wear any braces or anything like that because my disability is considered stable now. It doesn't really get better or worse. It's just kind of stabilized. So that's good. But it's definitely worse than it was when I was younger because, as I said, I used to walk with a walker and with braces, but I can't now. So I can walk with help, but not with a walker on my own. How will things change for people with disabilities in the future? Well, this is something I'm very passionate about, and this is why I started a website called wheelchairbarbie.com, because I love makeup and I love fashion, and I want there to be more representation of people in wheelchairs and with disabilities in the world of fashion and makeup. So I'm very passionate about that, and I'm hoping in the future that you will see more people with differences across the board in the public eye. It's also another thing I'm passionate about is making stages, like public stages, whether it be stages in theaters or whether it be a stage like a stadium stage, a concert stage, that they all be wheelchair accessible. Because I've had multiple opportunities to go on television shows where the television studio itself was not wheelchair accessible. And the studio wanted to make amends by having a satellite and do a video of me, but I didn't agree to do that because I felt like it was like saying it's okay that their studio, which is a public platform, was not accessible to everyone. So I'm very passionate that stages, whether it be theater stages or studio stages for television and all those things, be wheelchair accessible. So I started a campaign called #anyone can get on stage, because I think anyone with a message and with the talent should be able to get on stage when they have an opportunity. In fact, I recently got to meet Jessie J. She's my favorite singer, not because of my disability, but in part because I'm sick and I really wanted to meet her. And she was going to give me the opportunity to be on stage with her. But I couldn't be on stage because the stage where she was performing had a whole stack of stairs, a huge staircase, and they were afraid to carry me up on stage. And I thought it was really sad because it was a public venue at a college, which means that, if there was ever a student in a wheelchair that was to get on stage to do a speech or something, they wouldn't be able to. And I thought that was really sad. So I'm hoping that that changes in the future. And I'm working hard to change that myself. The next question is, do you believe in God, and does that help you having a disability? Yes, I believe in God. I'm actually a psychic medium, which a lot of religions kind of have a problem with, but it's something that I have been able to do since I was very little. I just kind of knew when things were going to happen, and I communicated with people that have passed away and also with angels. And it's something that I've been able to do since I was really little. I don't know if it's related to the disability, but I do know it runs in my family. My great-grandmother used to be able to do the same thing, and my mom had it a little bit as well. But yes, I have a very close connection with God, and I actually believe that my spirit or my soul chose to be disabled or in a wheelchair in this life so that I could positively impact and teach a lot of the world that differences are okay and give a powerful, positive message that no matter what form you're in, you can make a positive difference in this world. So my faith has a lot to do with my personal work and also with how I stay so happy, because I see my ability to serve God and to make a big difference in this world in large part related to being as I am, being disabled. And I've learned to love myself, and so it helps me to teach other people to love themselves, no matter what their differences are. So yes, my faith definitely helps me, and I have very strong faith. If there was a pill to take away your disability and cure it, would you take it? I've said this before in other videos. If there was a pill to cure my disability, I would not take it, because I'm proud of who I am. I'm proud of the way I was created, and I think it has a great deal to do with my purpose, and I think it gives me a stronger spiritual connection because of my faith, so I wouldn't take a pill to cure it. But if I could take a pill to cure cancer, I most definitely would, because as I said, cancer makes me feel more disabled than cerebral palsy ever did. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you soon in the next video. Love you guys. Love, light, and blessings. Bye!